All right, today we're going to talk about the hidden setting in your 1176 plugin. So right now what we're going to be focusing on is this percussion track that's within my YouTube example session. Per usual, this session is just a handful of samples that I took off Splice, so I won't have issues with copyright in the future, hopefully, with these videos. So this is not what my usual session might look like. It's a bit simplified, and it's just a bunch of Splice samples. So it's a good way to do an example, though, for a video. So that's kind of what I've started to do lately. So we're going to focus on this percussion track, and I'm just going to play this for you really quick. Swear we'll be better than I would. That's the basic idea of what we have going. And on this track, I have this 1176 plugin. This is the universal audio one. And then I also have the Waves version open. So you see the little Waves icon here. So I have two different plugins here. They're both in bypass right now, but they're both modeled after the same piece of hardware, the 1176. So the 1176 is a piece of hardware that we commonly see in studios. It's a FET compressor and limiter. And depending on how you use it, you can really get some extreme sounds out of it. You can really crunch and smash stuff. If you're not careful, you can get like too much distortion, for example. That kind of drives me nuts about this one every so often. But it's a very, very, very popular piece of gear that we use in commercial studios. And I know I've shown this plugin in other videos before. I believe I've mentioned it on like favorite plugin lists a few times, stuff like that. So I'm going to put a card up on the screen and a link in the description below to a video where I talk about this plugin in a little more detail that would kind of tell you how I would introduce this plugin to you and how I would explain this plugin to you. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of assume that you know a little bit about this plugin, this piece of hardware, and you're kind of familiar with it and its existence. And I'm just going to move on to the actual topic of this video. But if you want more of an explainer for what this piece of hardware, what this plugin emulation is, then please check out those links. And you'll notice here, I'm going to raise this one up here. I'm going to shift and click on this other one so I can open two at a time. And you'll notice here I have pretty similar settings for each of these. So right now they're kind of set to the same input position, output, et cetera, et cetera. And it's interesting to note, you'll hear this in a second when we dig into it a bit more, but it's interesting to note that these two plugins have a pretty, what I think of as a pretty drastically different sound, even though they're set to the same settings. And depending on how you set them, they're going to be a little more different or a little less different. But that's just something to note, that different manufacturers may have some variation in the actual sound of their emulations. And a lot of that depends on like what physical devices they modeled the emulation off of, the techniques for how they did it, whether they decided to change anything to try to improve it, stuff like that. Okay, so with that said, the setting that we're going to talk about today is the NUKE setting, or the British setting, it's sometimes called. What I've heard it most commonly called, though, is the all buttons in mode. And so for this mode, what we're looking at are these ratio options, right? So we have the 4, 8-to-1, 12-to-1, 20-to-1, right? 4, 8, 12, and 20. We have these different ratio settings. With compressors, we have a ratio option that affects the sound. When it's a higher ratio, it's going to be compressing the loud stuff even more before you then, in theory, bring up the output. So we have these ratio options, and on the physical hardware units, the way it would work was if you pressed one in, the other would pop up. So it's kind of like if you used an old cassette player or something like that, where it's like got a series of buttons. When you press one in, the other just automatically pops up. That's how the physical device would work. But there was this thing that you could do where if you pressed all 4 of them in at once, so the actual hardware units looked more like this one, right? Where you had all 4, you just had the 4 options. It didn't have this all button on the actual physical hardware unit, but you would press all 4 of them in at once. They would actually stick down and they would all stay down. So that was something that was not, I've been told, not intended with the actual piece of hardware, but it was kind of like an accident or a side effect of how it was designed, that you were able to press in all the buttons at once. So of course, music people, we tend to find things, break them, and then use the thing broken because we like how it sounds, right? That's something that often happens. That's happened throughout music technology history. We like accidents like this often. Very often we like accidents like this. Not all the time, but pretty frequently. So when you can get all the buttons pressed in, so in this plugin, we have an all button. That's what it's emulating, right? Is when you would press all the buttons in. When you would press all the buttons in on the physical piece of hardware, it would give you some pretty extreme compression. So it'd be a pretty extreme crunch. And what would happen is the attack and the release knobs would then not work anymore. I'm not sure what their settings would be set to and how that worked. I'm not sure that there has been a ton of research into what it's actually doing from a scientific perspective. I've read books that talk about it where they just say, oh, we don't really know because no one's really looked into it. So if anyone knows any more details on that, please, please, please send me the info my way, because I would love to hear about it. I would love to learn more about what it's actually doing. I just know that when you press all the buttons in, it gives you a really extreme compression, and those attack and release knobs, it's like don't bother with them anymore because they're not controlling anything anymore. So this setting can be really fun for something that you really want to crunch, right? Like a crotch mic for a drum kit, or often room mics for a drum kit. I don't know why I'm like going into drum mode now, but I love doing this with like room mics and crotch mics and stuff like that. I love that kind of grungy room sound. And I think there's actually a video online. I'll see if I can find a link to it and put it in the description and in the cards. But it's a video that I did years ago at Signature Sound Studios, and we did a whole setup for a drum kit for a band, and we walked through the whole setup and then did like a little demo of how it was sounding in the studio. And I think I might have used this technique on some of the mics in that drum kit setup. So I'm going to link to that for you if you want to check that out next. Okay, so we have that technique that existed with the hardware units. Nowadays, a lot of us are using plug-in versions, right? They're very affordable. They're very good. Replicas of hardware units in plug-in format are pretty flipping good nowadays. So we have these plugins, and there are various companies that make them. It's not just these two companies. I'm just using these two as an example. And you'll notice that on some plugins, you have the all button option and some you don't. But I'm going to show you how to use this technique on, I think, pretty much any plugin version of the 1176. So just because we don't see an option here does not mean that it's not an option on the plugin itself. So we're going to dig into that in a second. But first, I just want to say that this video is sponsored by me. So if you don't want to deal with any of this nonsense, production, mixing, mastering, stuff like that, I'm a professional audio engineer. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've been working full-time as an audio engineer for my entire adult life. And I love this stuff. I'm really into it. I get pretty nerdy. I get in the zone. I get in the flow state with mixing and stuff like that. I really love doing it. So if you don't want to deal with any of this stuff, you just want to focus on your artistry, please feel free to hit me up. Just go to catonoise.com and click the Get Started button. It's going to ask you a few questions about your music, and then it's going to take you to a calendar page where you can book a call with me. It's a free one-on-one call, and it's basically just for us to talk about your music and see if we're a good fit. My specialty is indie pop and alt rock, so especially if you're in that genre, please consider going to the website, booking a call. We can chat about your music and see if we're a good fit. Okay, back to the video. So with this plugin, it's really easy. If you want to switch from one of our traditional ratios to the all buttons in mode, you just have to click the all button. That's it. With plugins like this, where you don't have an all button, the way to do it is you just hold a shortcut down. So you're going to hold Shift on your keyboard, and you're just going to click on another one of these buttons to press all the buttons in, so to speak. And you can see that they look like they're indented now. So if I click on one by itself, all I have to do is hold Shift and click on another one, and it's going to put you into all buttons in mode. And this is what it actually looked like on the physical hardware unit. This one looks more realistic based on the hardware unit compared to this one. Not that it matters what it looks like at all, just saying that's what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to play these in a second. I'm going to play with the different parameters, and I want you to listen to what's going on here. So I want you to listen to the difference between the different ratio settings and the all buttons in mode. You're going to hear that it sounds more nuked, so to speak, right? That's why a lot of people call it the nuke mode. I also want you to compare and listen to the difference between these two plugins, because they do feel pretty different to me. And I just think that's something to note, because then once you've acknowledged that and acknowledged how they sound different to you, you can then choose when to reach for which one if you have both at your disposal. And another thing to listen to is listen to the transients of the sounds, that initial snap, the high frequency snap of the sound, because oftentimes with attack values, when we change those, it's going to change how many transients pop through in the sound. So if we have a longer attack value, you're going to hear more transients, for example. And I want you to listen to that pump of the tail end of what the compressor is doing, because that's what the release values affect. And what I want you to listen for is when we go from these ratio values, so 4, 8, 12, 20, to the all buttons in, that's when these no longer are affecting things. So I want you to listen to that pump and that transient snap when we shift in and out of the all buttons in mode. And just keep in mind that you can change the attack and release values when you're in these other modes, right, to affect things and maybe get it closer to that factor, that part of the all buttons in sound. It's just going to be a little bit different, right? Because you're going to have different ratio going on. It's going to be a different type of compression. But you can change these attack and release values from what they are to help sculpt the sound in that direction if you want to do so. You just have to understand how they affect the sound, right? With the transient snap and with the pump of the release and the pump of the quiet part of the sound coming through. And another thing that I would keep in mind is that these are the opposite of what you normally expect from a compressor, right? So this is actually going to be a short value here. So this is a short attack, and this is going to be a long attack. So setting it here and here are actually two pretty typical starting points to set it like around here as a starting point and around here. But I would just keep in mind that it's kind of the opposite of what you might expect. I would expect this to be a shorter attack time and this to be the longer attack time, but it's not. Okay, so just keep in mind the attack and release values are kind of the opposite of what you might expect. Okay, so I'm going to highlight a chunk of time here, and we're listening to this percussion. So this is the sound that we're listening to. Let me just highlight this. I'm going to unsolo it. I'm going to bring this one in first. I'm low, 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 low. I swear I will be better than I was. I thought that I was special. Very different. I'm low, 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 low. I swear I will be better than I was. I thought that I was special. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. I swear I will be better than I was. I thought that I was special. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. I swear I will be better than I was. I thought very different, right? Special. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. I swear I will be better than I was. I thought that I was special. We will be together. I'm low, 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 low. I swear I will be. It's pretty wild, the difference here. This is clipping, but gives you an idea of the difference here. And I would also wonder which versions these are based off of. This one has a few different revision versions here. There are a few different versions that they can be based off of, so that might be a big part of the difference. If someone knows the details here, let us know in the comments below. Hear that difference? The pump. Shift, click. It's pretty wild, right? So obviously if we were using these, we would then adjust accordingly, right? Based on how we want it to sound in the mix. But that's the basic idea. And the big takeaway again is shift and click to get that all buttons in mode if you're on a plugin that doesn't have the all button for you. I'm gonna click this to clear it. So that's kind of it. And you know, there are other pieces of hardware that have like a NUKE option, right? Like the Empirical Labs Distressor. If you've heard of that one also has a NUKE option on it. So let me know if you want to see a video on that in the comments below. And you know, just in case, I'm going to put a link to the actual hardware units for the 1176. And I guess I'll put one for the Distressor too in the description below. So you can check that out if you want. If you're looking to get one of these units and you want to help support the channel, please check out that link. Obviously no pressure, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. I try to keep the videos focused on topics that I find interesting. And, you know, YouTube doesn't always encourage certain behavior, right? Especially the nerdier stuff like I sometimes share where it's not just trying to sell something. So if you're already looking to get something like this and you want to support the channel, check out that link. I'd appreciate it. So that's it for today. If you want to work together and you don't want to deal with any of this nonsense, again, go to catonoise.com, hit that get started button, book a call with me. We can chat. And other than that, I have a Patreon. So it's patreon.com/CatoNoise. There's additional content for my Patreon patrons. We have a Discord server we're hanging out on. We do a book club on the Discord server. It's all audio engineering and music production books. It's so much fun. They get early release videos as I make them. And I think you can join for as little as $1 a month. So check that out if you want to support the channel. And also, if you have a favorite plugin emulation of an 1176, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear which one's your favorite and why. I'm always trying to refine my choices and my process. So please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that. I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, I come out with new videos every Wednesday, and thank you so much for hanging out. Okay. And also, if you have a favorite, oh, knocking my mouse over. The wave stuff always feels so much more extreme. It's like they crank everything. Sometimes I like that though. Okay. Hope you're all doing well. Bye.